You stepped onto the rooftop, breathing in the cool air as it brushed against your face. The sky was clear, and for a moment you just enjoyed the calmness. But then you noticed someone standing behind the wall, partly hidden. All you could see was a white shirt. Curiosity got the best of you, so you walked closer, and that's when you heard it. Someone was crying softly. Your heart sank. It was Jungkook. Jungkook, the guy who had always been your enemy, the one you never got along with. Seeing him like this felt strange, wrong even. And then it hit you. Today was his birthday. But it wasn't a happy day for him. Years ago, he lost his mother on this very day, and ever since, he never celebrated his birthday. Even though you two had never been close, you remembered how he was as a kid, quiet, sad, and alone. You couldn't stand seeing him like that now, so you turned and left without saying anything. Even though you were enemies, but you can't deny the fact that you have feelings for him ever since you both were young, and you just can't see him sad. Jungkook stood there leaning against the wall, trying to stop the tears from falling, but he couldn't. He hated this day, his birthday, while others looked forward to celebrating. For him, it was just a reminder of something terrible. His chest hurt as he thought about the past. He could still remember how excited he was, just a kid who wanted a perfect birthday party. His mom always made it special. She would bake his favorite cake, decorate the house, and make him feel so loved. But that one year, everything went wrong. They had gone out to pick up a few last things for the party, some decorations, candles, and the frosting he liked. He was so happy holding her hand, talking about the party, but then out of nowhere, a car came speeding down the street. His mom saw it first and pushed him out of the way. She saved him, but she got hit instead. "It should have been me," he whispered, wiping his eyes, but the tears kept coming. "She'd still be here if it wasn't for me." He was only 7 when it happened, too young to fully understand, but old enough to remember everything. The sight of her lying there, the sound of the ambulance, how his life changed in a second, it all stayed with him. Since then, he couldn't celebrate his birthday. How could he, when his mother died, trying to make it special for him? Every year when this day came, all he could think about was how she would never bake him another cake, never smile and sing happy birthday to him. The guilt was too heavy and it made him feel miserable. Jungkook's tears kept falling, his heart heavy with the memories of what he lost. No one else knew why he couldn't stand his birthday. To everyone else it was just another day, but to him it was the day his world fell apart, the day he lost the person he loved the most. In the classroom you were sitting silently at your desk, unable to focus on anything. The image of Jungkook's tear-streaked face haunted you. You kept replaying the scene on the rooftop. The sound of his sobs echoed in your mind. After some time, when the lunch break ended, Jungkook finally walked into the classroom. You noticed his eyes were red and puffy. He looked exhausted, as if the weight of the world was pressing down on his shoulders. Your eyes met for a brief moment, and you saw a flash of vulnerability in his gaze, but you quickly looked away, pretending not to notice. The tension was thick, and you felt an overwhelming urge to do something. Anything to make it better. Don't know why, you just can't see him in this condition. The idea came slowly at first. What if you planned a surprise birthday party for him? It was crazy, especially since you were supposed to be enemies, but the thought of him spending his birthday alone again pushed you to go through with it. He's also your neighbor. You looked back and found him looking outside the window. He never looked so sad and upset. That makes it more heart-wrenching. The teacher came in the class and you all stood up. "You all sit down, please. Let's start the chapter we left in the middle yesterday." You took out your book, but you kept glancing at Jungkook. He wasn't the same guy who never leave a chance to tease you and is now sitting all silent. He caught you looking at him for a few times, and although it made you a little embarrassed, but you don't mind today, you were worried for him. As soon as the class ended, the teacher left and you saw Jungkook packing his stuff. You wanted to go behind him, but your friend stopped you. "Why, and are you coming to the shopping mall with us tomorrow?" You were really not in the mood to pay attention to anything else but Jungkook, who already left the class. You looked at her quickly, shouldering your bag. "If I get time, I'll definitely let you know over the call." he said, rushing outside while your friends looked at each other confused. What is wrong with her? She's behaving weird today. It's okay, we'll ask her over the phone. Hey, Jungkook. You called out his name as you caught up to him in the hallway. He turned around, but his eyes were dull and his expression was tired. What? He responded, but his voice was flat. You tried to lighten the mood, hoping to get a reaction out of him. You looked like you were about to doze off in class. Are you secretly an old man in disguise? You teased, giving him a gentle nudge. I'm fine, he muttered, not really engaging with your joke. You weren't ready to give up just yet. Come on, what's really going on? Did someone steal your lunch or something? You joked again, trying to get a laugh out of him. But Jungkook just sighed, avoiding your gaze. It's nothing. You frowned, feeling a mix of frustration and worry. You know you don't have to handle everything alone, right? I'm here if you want to talk. He looked at you for some seconds, making your heart skip a beat, but then his expression shut down again. Thanks, but I really just want to be alone right now. Before you could say anything, he turned and walked away, leaving you standing there, feeling a mix of concern and helplessness. No matter what you tried, you couldn't break through the wall he had built around himself. I always wished that something happened and you stopped teasing me. I hated you for that. But when you're actually behaving like this, why I'm not feeling good? Why I want to see that cheerfulness on your face. If teasing me makes you happy, I'm ready for it, but I really can't see you like that. When you came back home, the empty house felt even quieter than usual. Your mom was away visiting your aunt, so it was just you, but your mind was still on Jungkook. How sad he looked, how nothing you said seemed to reach him. You dropped your bag on the floor and sank into the couch, staring at the ceiling. Why can't I stop thinking about him? You mumbled to yourself, frustrated. The image of his tired, pained expression kept playing in your head. You couldn't just let it go, not after seeing him like that. As you sat there, an idea started to form in your mind. Maybe I could do something. You thought aloud while your eyes drifted to the kitchen. What if I threw him a surprise party right here at my place? The idea felt a little crazy, but the more you thought about it, the more it made sense. It was his birthday after all, and if anyone needed a bit of kindness today, it was him. Yeah, I'll bake him a cake. Mom's not here, so I have the whole kitchen to myself, you said, nodding to yourself. You got up feeling a bit more energized now and started gathering the ingredients. As you worked, you kept talking to yourself. Okay, let's see. Flour, sugar, eggs. I can do this. I've seen Mom bake a million times. You mixed the ingredients, trying to make everything just right. He probably hasn't had a birthday cake in years, so this one has to be special. It has to remind him that he's not alone. A smile appeared on your face only by thinking of it. As you stirred the batter, you imagined the look on Jungkook's face when he'd see the cake. The surprise in his eyes when he would realize someone actually cared enough to do this for him. He deserved at least one good thing today, he said softly, pouring the batter into a pan. Jungkook was laying on his bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. The house around him was quiet, but not in a comforting way. It was the kind of silence that reminded him how empty it really was. His father was, as usual, buried in his work, too busy to even notice that it was his son's birthday. Jungkook let out a bitter sigh, turning into his side. He doesn't even remember. It wasn't like it was anything new. His father had forgotten his birthday for years now, too wrapped up in business deals and meetings to care about something as trivial as his son's birthday. His mind wandered back to his mother, and the guilt that always followed quickly set in. If she hadn't been trying to make me happy. His heart was heavy. No one had ever told him it wasn't his fault. No one had ever sat him down and said, Jungkook, you were just a kid. You didn't do anything wrong. Instead, he was left to figure it out on his own, and every year he came to the same conclusion, that he was the reason she was gone. He closed his eyes, trying to push the thoughts away, but they wouldn't leave him alone. If I hadn't been so selfish, she would still be here. She'd be the one baking a cake, not no one. His throat tightened and he swallowed hard, trying to keep the tears at bay, but the loneliness was overwhelming and there was no one to talk to, no one who cared enough to listen. The cake was finally in the oven and you were already thinking about how to decorate it. I'll keep it simple, but I'll write his name on it. He should know that it is for him. You started cleaning up, feeling a mix of nervousness and excitement. I hope he likes it. You murmured, wiping your hands on a towel. No, I hope it makes him feel better, even if it's just a little. He deserves that much. As the cake baked, you began to plan out the rest of the evening. You'd invite him over, maybe under some silly excuse, and then surprise him with the cake. I just want to see him smile, even if it's just for a moment. As the cake cooled on the counter and the last few balloons were taped to the walls, you took a few steps back to survey your work. The room wasn't grand or overly decorated, but it was cozy, warm, and filled with the effort you had put in just for Jungkook. A few candles flickered on the table. This is giving festive vibes, but this is all I had and I don't have time to go to the market and buy all this stuff. Everything was fine, but as the time to call him grew nearer, your nerves started to kick in. How do I even get him here? You muttered to yourself, pacing back and forth. You knew Jungkook wasn't in the best mood, and just asking him to come over for no reason would probably get a flat-out no. You needed a good excuse, something that would make him rush over without thinking twice. Then it hit you. You grabbed your phone, hesitated for a second, then quickly typed out a message. Jungkook, I'm home alone and I think someone's trying to break in. I'm really scared. Can you please come over? Your heart pounded as you hit send, feeling a bit guilty for lying but also knowing it was the only way to get him to come. You bit your lip, anxiously waiting for a response. On the other hand, Jungkook's phone buzzed. He was still lying on his bed, lost in his thoughts, when he heard it. He grabbed his phone and frowned as he read your message. His heart skipped a beat and without a second thought he sat up straight, suddenly alert. What? Someone's trying to break in? He whispered to himself, already swinging his legs over the sides of the bed. The thought of you being in danger sent a surge of adrenaline through him. His sadness was momentarily forgotten as he quickly grabbed his jacket and keys, not even bothering to think about why you'd reach out to him, of all people. I'm on my way. Stay inside and lock the doors. He texted back, his fingers shaking slightly from the rush of worry. As soon as you saw his reply, your nerves turned into a different kind of anxiety. He was really coming over and soon you quickly hid the cake in the kitchen and double-checked the decorations, making sure everything was ready. He's going to kill me when he finds out there's no break-in. You whispered to yourself with a small, nervous laugh, but you pushed that thought aside, focusing on the hope that this surprise might actually lift his spirits, even if it's just a little. Within minutes, there was a knock at your door. You took a deep breath, trying to calm your racing heart, and went to open it. Jungkook was standing there, his face a mix of concern and determination. He looked at you worried. Are you okay? He asked, stepping inside and looking around, ready to confront whatever danger he thought was there. You took a deep breath while your voice a bit shaky. Yeah, about that, there's actually something I need to show you. You started biting your lip and he knew something was off. Jungkook looked at you with confusion, his brows furrowing as he tried to figure out what was going on. I'm asking you something. Did someone come? You looked at him and you were more nervous than you thought. Come with me. You led him into the living room where he finally saw the lights, the candles, and the little setup you had put together. He stopped in his tracks, his expression shifting from confusion to surprise, and then something softer, something you hadn't seen in him in a long time. He looked at you while you smiled at him warmly. What's all this? Happy birthday, Jungkook. His heart skipped a beat. He couldn't believe you remembered his birthday and did all this for him. Why would you do this? You know I never celebrate this day. Why did you do all this? He didn't look happy and you already assumed that. You saw the sadness in his eyes and felt a pang of hurt. He was about to turn away, but you quickly reached out and grabbed his hand. Jungkook, wait, you said softly, stopping him in his tracks. Jungkook looked down at your hands, holding his face etched with confusion and pain. You know I don't do this. Then why would you even bother? He said quietly, and you could feel the pain in his voice. Because you do deserve it, he replied while your voice trembled with emotion. Jungkook, you have been carrying this burden for so long. You're still just a kid who lost someone you deeply loved. It's not your fault. His heart dropped hearing those words from your mouth. Those words hold so much power. He always wished someone could say that to him. But she died because of me. I asked her to go, and she... No, you interrupted gently, shaking your head. She died trying to protect you because she loved you. You were just a child, Jungkook. You didn't do anything wrong. Jungkook's breath hissed and he looked at you with pained eyes. I thought if I didn't celebrate my birthday, it would be like honoring her memory. But it just felt like a way to punish myself. You took a step closer, placing your hand on his cheek. Jungkook, punishing yourself isn't honoring her memory. She wouldn't want you to suffer like this. She would want you to be happy. She'd want you to enjoy your life and celebrate the good moments, even the ones that come on your birthday. Tears filled in his eyes. He didn't know why you were saying that. What made you do all this to him? Whether it was sympathy or something else, but you said the things no one has ever. He was feeling like crying. But I just feel so empty. Every year it's like this. I try to forget, but the guilt just won't go away. His voice cracked in the middle. It's not your fault. No one ever told you that, but I'm telling you now. You were just a child and accidents happen. It's not something you should blame yourself for. You were innocent. You said, cupping his cheek as your heart ached seeing him like this. Jungkook's tears began to fall and he let out a choked sob. I don't know how to stop feeling this way. I thought if I just ignored it, it would make it easier. You reached out and pulled him into a gentle hug, holding him close. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away, Jungkook. You need to let yourself grieve, to feel and heal. It's okay to remember your mom and still be happy. She would be heartbroken if she knew you were suffering like this. He clung to you, hugging you tightly while his body was shaking as he let out all the emotions he had been holding back. I just miss her so much. I wish I could turn back time, he said while his voice muffled against your shoulder. I know, you whispered, rubbing his back soothingly. We all wish we could turn back time, but what matters now is that you live your life fully, honoring her memory by finding joy and allowing yourself to be happy. She wouldn't want you to be sad all the time. Jungkook pulled back slightly, looking at you with tear-streaked face. I didn't think anyone cared this much. I care, you said softly, wiping his tears with your thumb. And I know she would want you to know that she loved you more than anything. You're not alone in this. I'm here for you, and I want you to be happy. He looked at you with a mixture of gratitude and vulnerability. Thank you. I didn't know anyone could understand. I do understand, and I want you to help you through this. You're not alone anymore. Jungkook's eyes softened as he took in your words. I guess maybe it's the time I start trying to live again, even if it's hard. Yes, it's time, and I'll be here to help you every step of the way, you said with a nod. He took a deep breath and a faint smile beginning to form on his lips. You saw a glimmer of hope in his eyes that hadn't been there before. You reached up gently, cupping his face in your hands. And for now, let's celebrate this moment. It's for you, to remind you that you are loved and you deserve happiness. You leaned in and kissed him softly, your lips meeting his in a tender, reassuring kiss. Jungkook was surprised at first, but then he closed his eyes, kissing you back. It was a kiss filled with all the emotions you couldn't put into words. a promise of support, a gesture of affection, and a sign that he wasn't alone. When he pulled back, Jungkook's eyes were filled with tears, but there was a warmth in his gaze that hadn't been there before. Thank you for everything," he whispered as his voice was heavy with emotions. He smiled gently, hugging him once more. "You're welcome. Now let's have a little celebration. I baked a cake with my own hands, just for you." He tightened his arms around you, pulling you closer, as if doesn't want you to go away from him. "I don't know how this day turned out like this, but what you did today, I don't think I'll ever be able to return the favor." You broke the hug and looked at him. "I didn't do a favor on you, Jungkook. I did it because I want to see you happy. I want that beautiful smile never leave your lips. I know we weren't in good terms, but I didn't think that was real. Jungkook, I like you." There was silence for a moment. Jungkook cupped your face and made you look at him. "And I do like you for, I don't even remember how long. It's just, I've never get a chance to let you know what you meant to me." You smiled while he pulled you into another kiss. After you broke the kiss, you brought the cake, and for the first time in years, Jungkook celebrated his birthday. "Come on, let's celebrate your birthday," he said softly, placing the cake in front of Jungkook. His eyes widened as he looked at the simple cake. "I never thought I'd celebrate again. It always felt wrong, like it would mean forgetting her," he said, at his voice filled with emotion. "It's not about forgetting her, it's about honoring her by allowing yourself to be happy. She would want you to enjoy your life." You reassured him, taking his hand. He looked at you while tears in his eyes. "Thank you. This means more to me than you know. You deserve it." You smiled, lighting the candles. "Now make a wish and let's enjoy this moment." Jungkook closed his eyes, taking a moment to wish for peace and happiness. When he opened his eyes, you both shared a tender smile. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to celebrate his birthday, surrounded by warmth and genuine care.